Folks, what's going on? HeirofCarthage here. Sorry the videos have been scarce this week. I've just been very busy with my day job. It kind of comes and goes like that. It always has. It's just that normally I was always sitting in the office doing that job. Now I get to do it from home, which is great. And, in the times where it's slower from home, I'm obviously able to get more done in those weeks. And then, of course, when it's busy, I've got to peel back some and focus more on that. And I'll get to the YouTube videos as quick as I can, which is what I'm doing here. I've got you a 2v2. This one's going to be a lot of fun. It is going to be Empire and High Elves, and they are going to be led by Boris Todbringer and Teclis, respectively. And they are going to be fighting against the Dark Elves and the Vampire Coast. The Vampire Coast will be led by RNS Assault Spite, and we will have a Queen Bess here, so prepare yourself for entertainment. And the Dark Elves will be led by a Dreadlord with a crossbow, as well as a Shadow Sorceress and a War Hydra. So we've got a lot of cool units on the battlefield. Let's hit those units real quick. Again, appreciate you being patient while the stuff is slow. I am working. I made an announcement a while back. I am also working on bringing back some historical Total War content. That is coming. No, I haven't forgotten about it, even though I announced it the other day. I've got some Rome 2 Total War stuff I'm going to record, and then I'll be visiting some others shortly thereafter. So, again, thank you for your patience. Let's jump into this one. There's going to be a bunch of spearmen here for the Order of Lore Masters. They've also got a couple of archers in the back, and then a lot of the same here for the Empire, mostly spearmen up front. There is a swordsman unit, a bright wizard, and, it's Karl Franz, not Boris, my bad. Karl Franz. And there's going to be 3 Outriders as well as 4 Reichsguard units, so that's a lot of armored cavalry that are going to be very good against low armor units, especially infantry units on the charge. So that's a lot of heavy units to throw around. A Star Dragon and then Teclis on his Arcane Phoenix. And Teclis is going to have his Potion of Cheroi, his Fiery Convocation, Regrowth. And it also looks like he's going to have a net and a Flaming Sword if needed as well. So good stuff for Teclis. Here is our Druchii Dreadlord, and he is on a Dark Elf steed here. Dreadlord with sword and crossbow. And then as far as the rest of the Druchii units, they have a little bit of an ambush set out here. Witch Elves supporting some Shades, and then we have the Shadow Sorceress out there as well. And just to kind of bring you all up to spec on the Shadow Sorceress, I know there's Enfeebling Foe, and it looks like Pit of Shades. Man, there's a bunch of spells there. I think we got Occam's Mind Razor even. Withering, Penumbral Pendulum, Enfeebling Foe, Mystifying Miasma. Yeah, I mean, just brought like a whole bunch of shadow magic there, which is not usually advisable, but maybe they want the extra bits added in here. So there's a couple Dread Spears, Bleak Swords, backed up by the War Hydra. There are some zombie deckhand mobs back here for Sartosa, as well as some more deckhand mob. The real meat of the Dark Elf army is these 2 Blackguard, and you can see that they are guarding the artillery of the vampires. And this is not a bad call to get something very sustainable in here, because Queen Bess, mortars, and a carronade, they can put down some significant damage. Actually, I think it's just Queen Bess and the mortars. Could be wrong, though, what all we have here. And then we've got up front the Shade Wraiths and a standard. There is a carronade. I knew there was. So 2 mortars, a carronade, 2 deck gunners, one of which is the Shade Wraiths, which is a magical attack one. RNS Assault Spite here, not on her crab, but she will be anti-large. And then a Gunnery White to supply extra ammunition and bonuses. You can see right off the bat that the Vampirates ain't joking around, man. You don't bring a spear to a gunfight. So they're going to immediately open up on the Empire troops, and the only thing that saved this unit from that Queen Bess shot was just having been broken up so badly by the fire before that. Queen Bess is best fired at a unit whose center of mass will be tightly packed. And you can dodge Queen... No, they didn't dodge at that time. You can dodge Queen Bess if you immediately move in the opposite direction. Whenever it fires, it won't track your unit. It'll track the way your unit's moving, but if that movement changes after it fires, it should miss, for those who are wondering how that might work. So anyway, you can see the Vampirates just immediately putting some devastating hits on the Empire. And we hear a net go off over here. Teclis has held a Dark Rider with shield that was protecting the Shades, and Teclis is going to immediately take an arcane crap all over these Shades, and that is not a good place for the Shades to be in. There are some Witch Elves here, but they have to be careful moving in quickly to support, because here comes the Fireborn. I didn't call this unit out earlier, but they are here. This is a very powerful heavy cavalry unit with anti-large and flaming attacks. And you're going to have the Reichsguard supporting them as well. So that's 5 units of heavy horse cavalry that's going to be throwing its weight around in this fight. You can see a kind of lightweight infantry fight getting started over here. There is a War Hydra and the Dreadlord to support it. So this is going to be, like I said, kind of a lighter weight intermediate fight until the real meat of the fight gets going over here. I like how the High Elves, though, and the Empire are avoiding this artillery blob over here because I like it and dislike it. If they avoid the blob, they're going to take damage from it, but they're also afraid to plunge into all these unbreakable units and then get outflanked by all this other stuff because they really only have cheap infantry, and their cavalry can't work its magic against the unbreakable units. Look, another net over here on the Bleak Swords. Not really sure what that one was about. The first net was pretty good. I don't know that this net really helps a whole lot because they were already caught by spearmen, but we will see. The Fireborn are already making their presence felt. They hacked through a unit of Shades, and they're working on their second unit of Shades. The Witch Elves, although they can rampage units, those units need to have a little bit, of damage done to them. And so the Witch Elves not doing well here, where the Reichsguard have caught them out early. We're going to see a fiery convocation here from Teclis, and does a little bit of damage to some Dark Elf infantry. The War Hydra, though, is helping to dominate the infantry fight proper at the moment. The Empire can't stop it, and the War Hydra is rampaging through. All the while, the Vampire Coast is just unleashing all over the Empire troops, and you can see lots of spearmen with shields being taken out, and a scurvy dog snuck through here very nicely to get into the archers. Franz took massive damage. The Bright Wizard took massive damage. So the Vampire Coast is really dishing out some very damaging shots over there. It's not just on cheap infantry or something. We do have a Pit of Shades coming in here from the Dark Elves, which will do some decent work on the Order of Loremaster Infantry. Seeing lots more units going about here. So the Order of Loremasters and the Empire have a pretty good position over here. Some of the Reichsguard have kind of taken a shellacking, and you can see the Fireborn here is just dishing out the death. It needs, the only way it's going to be taken down is with artillery fire, and I'm surprised that the Fireborn hasn't become the focus of some of that fire. I think it's all focused, yeah, it's over here focused on Karl Franz, which is not a bad target either, so Karl Franz gets absolutely owned. Look at this, now we got artillery fire focused on the Reichsguard, but the Fireborn racking it up. They are approaching 200 kills rather quickly. Shadow Mage is still alive, and the Druki Dreadlord is still alive as well. The Hydra, unsupported out here, does get tanked by Teclis, and then the Star Dragon is going to help clean this up. Interesting here, all the Outriders have kind of gotten behind the lines, and look at these juicy targets back here. A couple of Blackguard of Nagaron. Those would be fantastic targets for that Empire missile cavalry. We swing over here, there's a Reichsguard that was trying to thread the needle here, but gets absolutely cut off by a zombie pirate deckhand mob and then smashed by carronades. So what appeared to possibly be an opportunity, and this is why I think you got to be careful about charging into all that undead stuff, is you're just going to get bogged down, and that Reichsguard right there is going to be a good example of that. This one now getting shot by artillery as well. And over here, the Outriders are very close to the white line, and this one's wavering because of some big hits from artillery and Dreadlord, other stuff like, yeah, you can see Queen Bess is firing out here. Easily dodged by the Outriders, but the Micro's just not over here at the moment, and that really hurts leadership. Look at this one, routes because the infantry gets close. Mortar fire coming in, another one is going to rout, and this is very bad for the Empire. This should have been a absolute killing field for the Blackguard, meaning they should have been getting their faces shot off, and instead they're able to get 2 Outriders off the battlefield with a lot of ammo, and so these Blackguard have got to be feeling good about life at the moment. And you can see that the Vampires and the Druki in a pretty strong position still as far as what the power bar says, though they're not out of the dark yet. Dealing with Teclis and a Star Dragon is not easy. These deck gunners about to run out of ammo. The Shade Wraiths still have ammo. The Carronade has ammo. So there are tools to deal with the Star Dragon, but they better get started because it is a very beefy target, and Teclis does have regrowth. And yeah, both of those units can heal significantly. Teclis with his Potion of Sheroy, and the Star Dragon with the regrowth. So they've got a lot of hit points they got to deal with. The one unit of Outriders managed to continue to track the attention of a Blackguard, and despite being Blackguard and being awesome, any unit that gets singled out can find itself quickly destroyed, and that is no exception for the Blackguard. The elite troops of Nagaron can be silenced rather quickly by those elite units of the Order of Warmasters and the Empire's Outriders, and you're going to see that happen. So now a more proper attack is happening on the Vampirate Infantry, which should be able to hold out for the time being, but some key units out of ammo. Queen Bess is out of ammo. You can see the Shade Wraiths having to stay away. The Blackguard now going to be in their element. As long as they have all this undead support around them, they're going to be very powerful. These deck gunners were out of ammo and are now killed, but they got 110 kills before they went down. You can see this Carronade still a very important. Look at this, the Hydra came back from routing and has healed up a ton of its hit points, so that could be clutch too. So this fight's not quite over yet. You can see the Dreadlord, and I'm not sure why the Gunnery Wight pulled so far away from support over here. This Gunnery Wight had no need to do that. He should be over here as close to these polearms as possible. And he got netted now by Teclis very nicely, and so this is a key unit here because this guy can continue to give ammunition to other units, plus his missile strength is very good. Instead, he is going to get hurt bad by Teclis and a Star Dragon. 211 kills on the Fireborn, and they still have nearly all their units. You can see that that regrouped infantry attack did a little here against the Vampirates and the Druchii, but there's archers and other units, and the number of missile units is starting to wane a little bit as the pressure comes from the Reiksguard onto the artillery here. The Carronades and the mortars definitely reeling a little bit from that attack, and if the Druchii lose their the Druchii and the Sartosans lose their range support, it's over. So a nice repositioning of the Blackguard. They know what they have to protect. There's zombie pirate polearms, and honestly, those units should all just be plucked right here, and these gunners and other units need to be right in there, and you can see they're getting shots at Teclis. Teclis has physical resist, so the Shade Wraith gunners, pretty good matchup there for Teclis, but you can see Potion of Sheroi. That's why I said this guy is going to be a pain. Not going to be like Franzi. Franzi a little bit easier to kill. The War Hydra now back in, and it's just healing as it goes. You see the Star Dragon, now 300 kills on the Fireborn, and they're coming in looking for more, and they are going to get it. The Fireborn is going to get an absurd number of kills here. Star Dragon, War Hydra matchup. This definitely favors the Star Dragon, but a War Hydra should be able to cause a little bit of damage. The Shadow Sorceress here is caught up in some combat with some Order of Warmaster Spearmen. And you can see over here Aranessa using her Fisherman's Net to keep the Reiksguard from getting to the Shade Wraith gunners, though it's already kind of begun. The Shade Wraith gunners are in pretty bad shape, but a nice call by Assault Spite there, saving those gunners. You can see that the Blackguard feels compelled to come join this fight, which it kind of has to, or else they're going to lose, but by doing so, it now leaves the artillery exposed as well. Aranessa is attempting to keep it guarded, but you can see that's causing problems. Shade Wraith gunners get set up. They're going to take some shots at these archers. Probably should get rid of them, but again, the bigger targets are going to be the Star Dragon and Teclis, and both of them are in pretty solid health at the moment. You can see a nice breath attack here. Oh, that Hydra just ate the full force of that. That is rough. Look at that, 400 kills on the Fireborn, though they are cooped up with Blackguard. There is leadership support, but the Blackguard also have a leader nearby, and so this may be the end of the Fireborn, but they still got a tremendous load of work done. A lot of those units were cheap undead units, but I mean, hey, 400 kills is 400 kills. Not a lot of units be getting 400 kills in battle. The Shade Wraith gunners are silenced, and with it, honestly, probably the last chance of the Vampirates and the Druchii here. With those Shade Wraith gunners out, there is really no solid answer to these flying monsters on the part of the Order of Warmasters, and honestly, the Vampirates did a really solid job through a lot of this battle, causing some tremendous damage to the Empire and the High Elves. Really good play overall, I thought. And at this point, they just can't defend themselves. It's very difficult to do. Salt Spite is doing her best, her salty best, to get it done. See here, yeah, again, the Fireborn's still not done yet. They're going in for some more kills. Why not? We got to 400. Let's see if they'll make it to 500. You can see over here the Druchii Dreadlord really putting up a pretty solid fight, all things considered. He's outmatched, though, too, in the end. I'm surprised the power bar is this favorable. I think it's just because Aranessa and the Druchii Lord are in such good health, but Aranessa is now going to be caught down on the ground. Look at this Reiksguard. It's got an open line to the Carronades. Oh, boy. This looks bad for the Vampirates. Oh, that's clutch. Fisherman's Net, but Salt Spite pays with her life to get that Fisherman's Net. It does work, though. There are some zombie pirate mob headed that way, but old Salty Saw Legs, she's had enough. She's done. Toast. and this battle becomes even closer to being finished. A Dreadlord couldn't possibly hope to hold his own, even probably with the support of the Blackguard against Teclis and his Arcane Phoenix, as well as a Star Dragon. It is not looking good. Not looking good at all. Look at this, the Fireborn finally routed with 421 kills, but they came back. They want some more. They're not done yet. See the Reichsguard putting some preliminary charges into the Blackguard. Probably won't do a ton of damage, but, you know, it keeps them busy. What damage it does will be useful. Teclis is starting to pick apart the artillery that for so long in this battle did so much damage. Again, kudos to the Vampirates here of Sartosa. They really did a spectacular job, I think, causing a lot of damage in this battle. They did a bunch. I almost feel like that the Druki kind of had the right idea. They had these Blackguards posted up around the Vampirates. I feel like they would have posted all their infantry around the Vampirates. I don't know. Like, I don't know if the allied team here, the original, the submitting team, could have pulled this off if the Druki were fully up there with their Vampirate allies, not giving a flank to be crushed. Because honestly, this would have been a mess trying to take out like all this undead stuff amidst all the Druki with all the leadership support, the fisherman net of Aranessa. It would have been a mess for sure. But all that heavy cavalry is a bit of a problem for the Druki and the Vampirates too. They would have had to dealt with it rather nicely. Really cool battle here. I like this 2v2. It had a lot of phases there. Kind of swung back and forth for a long time. Villabos and Hedgehog here were in the lead, but then the Sergeant Buzzkill and Vaporeon managed to pull it back in the end. I mean, just the Fireborn performance here is stellar. Yeah, it was a lot of undead units, but I mean, it killed a ton of units. I don't even know if it paid for itself in the end because some of those undead units are so cheap, but still, 400 kills is just awesome to see one way or the other. And then, of course, Teclis and a Star Dragon doing what they do best. Franz got wrecked, but the Empire did stick around for a long time with a lot of Reichsguard, and some of the Outriders managed to stick around too into the late game and be a real nuisance. But I mean, honestly, I don't know what the Empire could have done in the face of that Vampirate artillery assault. The best thing they could have done is just got Franz and the Bright Wizard as far away from that as possible. But regardless, they managed to stay into the late game and help support Vaporeon's monsters in finishing the fight. Villabos here, again, loved the performance. Deck Gunners got a bunch of kills. The Shade Wraiths did some good damage to units like Karl Franz and others. The Carronade did fantastic work. Queen Bess killed a ton of units. It's hard to say whether these units pay for themselves because it kind of depends on what they kill. If Queen Bess gets a hold of elite infantry, she'll pay for herself real quick. If it's cheap infantry, it's a little more difficult, but still fun play to see regardless. And then Hedgehog here, the Dreadlord, and the Shadow Sorceress. That War Hydra coming back late with all those hit points, I was wondering whether or not that would help swing this, but I mean, a Star Dragon and Teclis together on his Arcane Phoenix, whew, yeah, that's a big hurdle to get past. Not an easy one at all. I like the initial ambush with the Shades, but I think they underestimated Teclis' net there. They had some protection. There was Witch Elves out there. I would have loved to have seen the War Hydra combined with the Witch Elves. That would have been really cool to see those units stay near each other, because then the War Hydra dishes the damage, the Witch Elves rampage things, and then keep the Shades far back behind all that, and when the Witch Elves rampage something, then bring the Shades in and smash it. And then that way the Shades stay until the late game also, and in the late game, Shades are a lot better of a melee hybrid than they are early in the game, and you can see when they got caught by the monsters and cavalry, they're pretty terrible against that stuff. But fun play regardless. Appreciate all the players. Hope you all enjoyed this one. I'll be back soon with some more Total War content. I am excited. Like I said, historical stuff coming your way, more Warhammer coming your way. Eventually I'll get to some non-Total War games as well. Work is busy, but as it gets less busy, I'll make more content. I'm going to try and get streams restarted next week too. I'm going to try and stream a couple of nights a week. I've revamped a few tools on my stream, like as far as alert boxes. I've added in loyalty points, a dueling game, a gambling game. Yeah, the loyalty points are Carthage salt pennies. So the more stream you watch or the different things you do on stream, you gain loyalty points. And I'll have some fun rewards for that type of stuff from time to time too. So hoping to make it more fun for you all to join in and give people a reason to come hang out. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out. I will see you soon with some more content.